I just wanted to get together, talk a little bit about what's happening this week, and then make a few announcements as well. So it's been a busy week. I think a good start to our administration. We can always do better, but we met our goals that we set here during the first week and reacted to a few other things that popped up as well from time to time. Obviously on Monday, we should start on Sunday. On Sunday we started with the private swearing in at my house with all my family was in from out of town, my three brothers, and I have a sister that lives here, and our kids, so that was great to have everybody together. Then on Monday we started with our inaugural activities, community breakfast. Our goal for that initially was 1,000 people, and over 2,300 people ended up registering for that. It was a tremendous display of our neighborhood pride, our small city pride. The involvement from people throughout the community was what I was hoping for, and the type of inclusivity that was demonstrated throughout the inaugural day produced tremendous energy and promise, I think, for the city. Our interfaith service, we didn't know how many people would show up at that, but it was standing room only, 1,200 people. And interestingly, it was the first time that many people had attended an interfaith service, much less seen the world-class talent that we have here in terms of music from our houses of worship and the tremendous reflective ability from our various pastors, reverends, imams, rabbis around town. Then we had the public swearing in. So we had the warmth of the interfaith experience and the cold of sitting outside for the hour of that we were all sworn in throughout that. And then, of course, we had the gala that evening. Again, the goal for that was about 800 people, and 1,800 people showed up and paid their way to get into that. No public money was spent on any of the inaugural activities, and thousands and thousands of people in the community participated. So it was a real celebration for all of us as Louisvillians. It was a great day. We had a positive announcement of a creative solution to the bridges problem, or the bridges, by about $500 million. So the enormous cost of the bridges project, which is really vital to our city and our region, we're taking steps toward making that happen. That came out early in the week. That was a result of a meeting that Governor Fischer and Governor Daniels and I had on December the 21st. It was just a fantastic meeting in terms of, I'm a business guy, but it was a good business meeting. There were no sideshows, there were no politics. It's just how can we get this thing done? What have our citizens been telling us, which were two primary things. This thing costs too much, number one, and then let's not put tolls on existing infrastructure. So we asked the Bridges Authority then to move forward with a new set of initiatives, and heretofore what they'd been trying to do was execute the record of decision. They had not been given any other direction, so we gave them some further direction that will hopefully benefit the community. Throughout the week, I met with many city employees, starting off with my public protection team, the first meeting I had in the office, to our city's snow command staff, wanted to make sure we're ready for the snow, to my own mayor's office employees, just all the different department heads we just had, communicating my goals of creating the best city government possible, talking about our Citizens' Bill of Rights, which makes sure that we always keep top of mind that our citizens truly are our customers. So it was interesting, the meetings that we had with our various team members here. I'm not sure what the expectation was, but the focus of each meeting was developing and building a culture that's focused on being the best city government in the world. That's by focusing on things like timeliness, access, results, transparency, and then how we achieve those goals is how we interact with each other through dignity and respect, positive people, problem solving, team players, etc. So we had a lot of good team building and culture building here throughout this week, which of course is how ultimately our decisions will be affected. Yesterday, I made good on my early commitment to take a fresh look at the city and county government merger by signing an executive order creating a 23-member merger, calling it Merger 2.0 task force. That seemed to be received very well, and the task force will make recommendations to ensure that our 8-year-old merger is working as well as possible for all of our citizens. So there's going to be a lot of good work done on that. Rebecca Jackson and Dave Armstrong will be co-chairing that. So there'll be a lot of people involved with the community in addition to the 23-member task force. And certainly all of us, I think, share a goal that we want every city department to be the best it can be and to be operating at top efficiency. Yesterday, I had the pleasure of going to the Metro Council chambers and addressing them in a spirit of cooperation and teamwork. We're all in this together to improve the delivery of services to our citizens, and I really am encouraged by the feeling of partnership that is existing across 6th Street so that we can work together. Our citizens are not interested in any drama. They're just interested in their lives being better off, and I feel confident my colleagues and partners with the Metro Council and I will be able to deliver on that. Today I ordered a second review of a city department. You'll recall the first review is already underway with Public Works and Assets, and today I ordered a review to look at all the practices and procedures at Metro Animal Services. Plus, we're going to start moving forward on the search for a permanent director for animal services, as I committed to do during my campaign as well. So this review that's underway will be led by Sadiqa Reynolds of my staff. We'll examine how animal services cares for animals, all the policies and procedures for euthanasia. It's going to track the city's adoption rate in recent years. The review will benchmark Louisville's animal welfare and control efforts with other cities nationwide. As you all know, and you've heard me say here many times before, what's the best practice around the world? What's the best practice around the country? Where do we stand? What are our gaps? You know, how do we become the best in the world? So we have a lot of work to do. There's some good folks working at animal services that may not have the tools, may not have the right policies or procedures, may not have the right training, but we want to make sure that everybody sees that we're doing the very best that we can do here in Louisville with our animal services. We all want to decrease our homeless pet population and increase adoption rates, reduce euthanasia, and we'll look at other cities to see how this has been accomplished, as well as involving the tremendous amount of citizens groups that we already have in the community that do a wonderful job individually. We will involve them with helping us with solutions and ideas, developing the definition of what we need in our next animal services director to make sure that we're listening to our experts in the community here as well, and we have plenty of them. We've made big strides recently with animal services with the recent opening of the beautiful new Animal House off of Newburgh, the adoption center, but we can do better. And you'll always hear me say, whether we think we're the best or not, we can always do better, and we can certainly do better with animal services. Within the past hour, Sadiqa Reynolds, who's my chief of community building, has met with the employees at Animal Services and announced this review process and how it will begin, and that she will be the head of that. We'll also be asking for some help from some of our colleagues on the Metro Council. So as I mentioned in my inaugural speech, we're striving to make Louisville an even more compassionate city. So tomorrow is an exciting day because that's the last event of the inaugural week. So we're on the eve of our first Community Day of Service. That's tomorrow from 9 a.m. to noon. Our initial goal when we set the project was 30 projects and 300 volunteers. So now we have nearly 800 volunteers signed up for nearly 70 service projects at nonprofit groups around the city. So we're elated by the response to our call for service. Obviously, times are tough financially, but we hope they're never tough when it comes to compassion. Philip, I hope you're volunteering somewhere tomorrow because we have unlimited capacity to help each other when we look at human condition that way. So I'm excited about this tomorrow, 800 folks. And then we also had a little fun this week. We actually had a lot of fun this week. I've got joy in work, so every day is fun for me. But last night, Actors Theater actually let me on stage to do a cameo performance at the Second City production of It Takes a Ville. So that was fun. So it's been a good week. I appreciate your all's kind coverage throughout the week. I know it's been busy and a lot of hours, but I hope you all have enjoyed it as much as I have. So I'm happy to take any questions.
Why this review now? Is it because Metro Animal Services, is it because LMPD is doing a public integrity investigation, a recent one, or is it because the story that we did with some of the employees that are worried that their jobs are on the line because they feel that animals are getting euthanized left and right on the outside?
The reason for the review is that if you followed my campaign very much, you know we had an animal services team throughout the campaign, and the need to have improvement at Metro Animal Services was identified, just like every department does. And so we wanted to review various departments. It's no secret that there's been issues or controversy surrounding animal services, so we want to dig in there and find out what are the facts, how can we improve. And so we felt like that all along was going to be one of the initial things we done. I've only been in office now for 5 days, you know, so it gave me a little time. But it seemed like it was the right time to get that going, and that was a week one goal that we had set.
Earlier, you probably had said that you look to have a director in place by October. So does this kind of speed up the process and have a director in Metro Animal Services in place a lot sooner then?
It could. I mean, we're going to do a methodical search. We want to make sure that we get input from all the various animal services groups throughout the community so we have a clear definition for the type of director that we want, and then do a comprehensive search. I always like, you know, if it can happen sooner rather than later, that's great. But we certainly should have a lot of cushion with that date.
Given the current conditions at the Mansfield Road shelter, also coupled with the fact that Zelensky, the current interim director, is named in 2 lawsuits for intimidation and retaliation against him as an employee, why not replace him immediately, sort of an interim director?
A double interim square director? I hadn't heard of that before. Yeah. Well, Sadiqa Reynolds is a very capable person. She'll be doing that evaluation. If any type of action needs to be taken, I'm sure we'll do that. But you want to give everybody the benefit of the doubt on any type of employee review, and now we've got to go over there and quickly take a look at that.
This one was involved, we've had an entire year to have the benefit of the doubt. Do you think that it might be something you want to think about earlier?
Well, again, this is my 5th day as mayor, so I'm looking at it from some past, but really here just the first week here. So we need to be, that's Sadiq will be running that. As you know, Sadiq was a judge and an attorney, and she's a fair and capable person that will be doing a good job on this.
Mr. Mayor, in your view, should Mr. Zelensky be part of the national search for the director of the past controversies and continuing that? He sort of disqualified himself from being in that search?
Anybody, you know, the job will be open to anybody that wants to apply for it. I don't know if Wayne wants to do that or not, but we won't preclude anybody from applying for it.
But he's indicated in his resume and just statement before that he is interested in the job. Do you think that he is someone who would want to run for Metro Animal Services under your tenure?
We're just starting the review process at this point in time, Philip, so you know, I don't want to make any preconditions. What the goal is to have a world-class animal services center. That's the goal. And we want to start from day one with that as the end zone. And I hope that people understand that we'll be acting with a sense of urgency. But at the same time, you go into something like this and start interviewing people, and you see what happens.
Can you speak to some of the specific concerns that maybe your animal services team has kind of developed to lead to this review?
Well, we have some challenges with animal services. You've been to the facility on Manslick Road, I'm sure, so we have facility challenges. We have we have a situation where any adoptable pet that is euthanized is one too many. And so, of course, that happens from time to time. You know, that can be a result of not having enough volunteers or having volunteers that are not embraced the way that they should be. So and that's, you know, we don't have an active spay-neuter program or as active as it can be. So there's multiple elements, as you know, it looks like you know what I'm talking about, you know, that go into being a community where we make sure that every pet that's adoptable finds a home. And it's a system that we have to take a look at and understand what the issues are and then drive toward that.
To follow up on that question, is the interim director's job safe at this point?
Well, as you're hearing me say, Sadiq will be taking a look at all of this, and then we'll be evaluating that in the coming days.
But Mr. Mayor, earlier this week, we're wondering if you confirm or deny that Mr. Zelinski was pulled out of a meeting to meet in the mayor's office, and if so, what was that meeting about?
Wayne was in a meeting with our public safety officials earlier this week with all of our public safety folks, from Doug Hamilton to Chief White, and that was one of the meetings I mentioned here earlier, where we were just talking about the Citizens' Bill of Rights, so there was no specific issue related to him.
Meeting in which he was called out from meeting with the Humane Society of the United States, he was called to the mayor's office.
If it was the meeting that I just mentioned to, that was our culture meeting, that was the only time I've met with Wayne this week.
Have you spoken to Wayne regarding this review?
That Sadiq's job was to do that as well.
So you haven't spoken to Mr. Zelinski directly?
No.
At all?
Okay, well, we appreciate you all being here. Have a safe, hopefully snow-free weekend, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.